and today I'm going to be showing you how to make Obi-Wan Kenobi. So, to start off with, to make them, what you're going to need is you're going to need stripped mangrove wood, stripped oak log, oak planks, terracotta, brown concrete powder, birch planks, sandstone, white terracotta, light gray concrete, and later on you'll need light gray wool, spruce planks, stripped spruce wood, brown concrete, brown wool, spruce slab, and dark oak slab. Pause the video, grab all these materials, and on that little note, let's get started. So to start off with the statue, what you want to do is you want to place down 8 mangrove on the floor. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then, looks like I mixed up a material. You want to grab out your brown concrete, and you can get rid of just get rid of the light gray. Then what you want to do for the next row is you want to do 1 brown concrete, 6 mangrove, 1 brown concrete. For the next row, you want to do, well, get rid of your brown powder and replace it with your brown wool. And let's say make this for the next 4 rows. So this one being the first, second, third, fourth. Then come back down to the first row and place down 6 mangrove. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And like I said, that is for the next 4 rows. And once you have that, what you want to do is you want to come up to your next row. You want to place 1 brown wool, 1 oak log, 2 oak logs, 2 oak planks, 2 oak logs, 1 brown wool. For the next row, place 1 brown wool, 1 oak log, 4 oak planks, 1 oak log, 1 brown wool. For the next row, do 1 brown wool, 1 oak plank, 4 birch, 1 oak, 1 brown wool. For the next row, do 1 brown wool, 1 sandstone, 1 birch, 2 sandstone, 1 birch, 1 sandstone, 1 brown. And do the same thing for another 3 rows. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Oh, and also here's another thing. Comment down below if you want me to continue editing on the PlayStation or on the computer. And on that little note, for this row, what you're going to want to do is, let's say, what's a block you can get rid of? Get rid of the mangrove and replace it with your light gray concrete. Get rid of the stripped oak wood and grab out your light gray wool. So, for the next row, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to place 1 brown wool, 1 sandstone, 1 birch plank, 2 sandstone, 1 birch, 1 light gray, 1 brown. For the next row, you're going to want to do 1 brown, 4 birch, actually 6. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's only 5. Sorry about that. 1 light gray, 1 brown. For the next row, do 1 brown wool, 5 sandstone, 1 light gray, 1 brown wool. For the next row, do 1 brown wool, 5 brown concrete, 1 light gray, 1 brown wool. Make that a light gray wool. For the next row, do 1 brown wool, 6 sandstone, 1 brown wool. For the next row, do 1 brown wool, 6 birch planks, one brown wool. For the next row, do one brown wool, two sandstone, two birch, two sandstone, one brown wool. For the next row, do one brown wool, one sandstone, one birch, one sandstone, one birch, two sandstone, one brown. For the next row, do one brown, one birch, sandstone, one birch, two sandstone, one birch, one sandstone, one brown. For the next row, do one brown, one sandstone, one birch, one white terracotta, one sandstone, one birch, one sandstone, one brown. That is a slur of colors. For the next row, do one brown, two birch, two white terracotta, two birch, one brown. And I'm gonna go and grab a water. Okay, so once you have finished the front, and it looks a little bit like this. Sorry if that was hard to follow, but there are a lot of different colors in this statue. You want to come down to the row right down here, and you want to place out 4 white terracotta. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Do the same exact thing on the other side. And probably the easiest thing on the statue, both sides are identical. Just one is mirrored from the other. So, that little note, start on either side, and basically all you want to do is just copy. So what you want to do, starting off, is I'm going to go left to right, is you want to place down a solid row of brown concrete. Then, do one brown concrete, and to make this easier, I'm going to move the white terracotta and brown wool closer together. One brown wool, two brown concrete. For the next row, do one brown wool, one brown concrete, one brown wool, two brown concrete. For the next row, do two brown concrete. For the next row, do one brown, and I'm actually going to say dark brown from now on because it's the darker one. One dark brown, one brown, one dark brown. For the next row, do one brown, one dark brown, one brown, one dark brown. For the next row, do two dark brown, one dark brown. For the next row, do one brown concrete, two brown wool, one brown concrete. And do the same exact thing for the next row. For the next row, you want to do one brown wool, one brown concrete, one brown concrete. For the next row, do one brown wool, one brown concrete, one brown wool, one brown concrete. That is what one of the arms wants to look like. Then all you have to do is come over to the other side and basically do the same exact thing. So I'm going to be going right to left this time, and what you want to do is you want to do 4 brown concrete, 1 brown, well 2 brown, 1 brown wool, 1 brown concrete. For the next row, do 2 brown, 1 brown wool, 1 brown concrete. For the next row, do 2 brown wool. For the next row, do 1 brown wool, 1 brown concrete, 1 brown wool. And do that same exact row for the next one. So, okay. Then what you want to do for the next row is do 1 brown concrete, 2 brown wool, well, 1 brown wool and 2 brown concrete. For the next 2 rows, do 1 brown, 2 brown wool, 1 brown concrete. So for the next 2. For the next 2 rows, you want to do 1 brown, 1 brown wool, 1 brown concrete, 1 brown wool. And once you have that, this is what the front should look like. So on that little note, it's time to move over onto the back. And as a little note, get rid of your oak planks and grab out your brown concrete powder. You're only going to need this for 1 row, but get rid of any block, mainly your light gray wool, and replace it with mangrove. So, once you're on the back, what you want to do is you want to come back by 3 with your mangroves. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then just fill in the back with your mangrove wood. Then, for the next row, you want to move this brown concrete powder closer to the brown wool. You want to place a solid row of brown concrete. For the next row, what you want to do is you want to do 1 brown concrete, 1 brown wool, 1 brown concrete, 2 concrete powder, 1 brown concrete, 1 brown wool, 1 brown concrete. For the next row, you want to do basically the same exact thing. So, make it simpler instead of me explaining it again. I am just going to copy this last row because that is actually what it is. There's a lot of copying on the back. For the next 3 rows, do 1 brown concrete, 1 brown wool, 1 brown concrete, 2 brown wool, 1 brown concrete, 1 brown wool, 1 brown concrete. Like I said, for the next 3, so 1, 2. So, not the concrete powder. I'm going to tell you the front probably has the most detail. And the thing is, if you did not put detail on the statue, it just looks straight up weird. For the next 2 rows, do 1 brown concrete, 1 brown concrete, 2 powder, 1 brown concrete, 1 wool, 1 concrete. I'm just going to start calling it the end block rather than saying the name and then the block. And like I said, that is for the next 2. So, you know the drill, if you've seen my videos. And my plans disappeared. Let me pull that back up. Okay. For the next 3 rows, you basically want to do this row again. So, 1 brown concrete, 1 wool, 1 concrete, 2 wool, I did powder, 2 wool, 1 concrete, 1 wool, 1 concrete. And like I said for the next 3, so 1, 2. And why do I keep on confusing wool with powder? There you go. For the next row, what you want to do is you want to do 1 concrete, 1 wool, 1 powder, 2 wool, 1 powder, 1 wool, 1 concrete. And do the same exact thing for the next row. So, do, powder, do. There we go. For the next row, you want to do 1 brown, 1 wool, 1 powder, 1 brown, 2 powder, 1 brown, 1 concrete. For the next row, you want to do 1 concrete, 1 wool, 1 concrete, This is confusing. 1 brown, 1 powder, 1 concrete, 1 brown, 1 concrete. For the next row, do 1 concrete, 1 brown, 1 concrete, 2 powder, 1 concrete, 1 brown, wool, 1 concrete. For the next row, do 1 concrete. Oh, well, okay. 1, actually make that 2 concrete, 1 powder, 2 wool, 1 powder, 2 concrete. For the next row, do 1 concrete, 1 powder, 4 wool, 1 powder, 1 concrete. For the next row, do... I think I messed up. These two want to be concrete. For the next row, do 1 concrete, 1 wool, 1 concrete, 2 wool, 1 concrete, 1 wool, 1 concrete. For the next row, do 2 concrete, 4 wool, 2 concrete. And guess what? It's finally the easy part. For the next 3 rows, all you want to do for detail is place browns on the end, raise it up by 2, and fill the rest of it in with brown wool. Those are the easiest rows on the back. So, on that little note, let's move on to the arms. And number one thing, the arms are not identical to the front. So, what you want to do is line it up with the back, with the front. So right about here, place down the 4 terracotta. And what you want to do from there is it is identical on both sides. So I'm going to be going from left to right on this side. What you want to do is you want to place down 4 brown concrete, then 1 brown concrete, 1 brown wool, 2 brown concrete. For the next row, do 1 brown concrete, 2 brown wool, 1 brown concrete. For the next row, do 2 brown concrete, 1 brown wool, 1 brown concrete. For the next row, do 1 wool, 1 concrete, 1 wool, 1 concrete. For the next row, do 1 wool, 2 concrete, make that 3. For the next row, do 1 concrete, 1 wool, 2 concrete. For the next row, do exactly the same thing. So that makes it easier. For the next row, you want to do 2 wool, 2 concrete. For the next row, do 3 wool, 1 concrete. For the last row of this arm, do 1 concrete, 2 wool, 1 concrete. Then, once you have that arm, just move over to the other side. And what you want to do is I'm going to go right to left. Yeah. Sometimes I get confused with my hand directions. But it is basically the same exact thing. So you can just look over there and mirror it over here. What you want to do is you want to do 4 brown concrete, 2 brown concrete, 1 brown wool, 1 concrete. For the next row, do 1 concrete, 2 brown wool, 1 concrete. For the next row, do 1 concrete, 1 brown, 2 concrete. For the next row, do 1 concrete, 1 brown, 1 concrete, 1 brown. And do this No, wait. It's not the same exact thing. That's a higher up row. For the next row, do 3 brown concrete, 1 brown wool. For the next row, do 2 brown, 1 brown wool, 1 brown concrete. And do the same thing for the next row. For the next row, you want to do 2 brown concrete and 2 brown wool. For the next row, you want to do 3, or no, wait, 1 brown concrete, 3 brown wool. For the next row, do 1 brown concrete, 2 brown wool, 1 brown concrete. Once you have that, that is what the back should look like. Alright, little note. Let's move over to the sides. And just a little note, both sides are exactly identical. So, over to either side. All you want to do is it is a little bit of a pattern, but what you want to do is you want to place 2 brown concrete here, then do another row exactly the same, raise this one up right here, all the way up to the top with your brown concrete, then raise the other row all the way up to the top with your brown wool. Then fill in the bottoms with your terracotta. For the next row, or the very first rows on the arm, you want to do 2 brown wool, concrete, 1 brown concrete, 1 brown wool. Then 1 brown concrete, 1 brown wool. For the next row, do 1 wool, 1 brown concrete, and then do the same for the next row. So, yeah. Then for the next row, do a solid row of brown wool. Then do 1 brown concrete, 1 brown wool, 1 concrete, 1 wool, 1 concrete, 1 wool, 1 wool, 1 concrete, 1 concrete, 1 wool. Leaving you with something that should look like that. And just come up at the top and fill it in with your brown wool. It doesn't really matter. That's what it should look like. Then what you want to do is basically come over to the other side and do the same exact thing. So, that's like probably the most simplest part on the statue other than the detail. It's a complicated statue. Hopefully it's easy to follow. So, yeah. Okay. There we go. And go back and fill it in with the brown wool. And fill in the top with 3. And there we go. So once you've completed both sides, it's time to move on to the head. And let me say this one thing. For the head, you're going to need a few extra blocks. So, let's do this. Clear out your whole hotbar and grab out white terracotta, forgot a color. You need green wool, so wherever that is. Green wool. You also need white wool. Then you want brown concrete, it looks like. Yeah. Strip spruce planks, and the 2 slabs. And that's all you need for the face. If I do need something else, I will grab it out. So, on that little note, let's get this moving. So, let me see here. Okay, so I can do this pretty easily. So what you want to do is you want to place a solid row of white terracotta, then move out on both sides, come out by 2 rows with your stripped spruce. Okay, only make that 1 actually. Now to make it easier, what we'll do is what you want to do is once you've come out by the 2 rows with your stripped spruce, you want to count in by 2 and destroy over 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, only 4. Then what you want to do is you want to replace this with your spruce planks. For the next row, you want to do 1 spruce plank, 2 spruce, 2 stripped spruce, 2 spruce, 1 stripped. So this is going to be stripped and this is going to be spruce. For the next row, you want to do 3 white terracotta, 2 spruce, 3 white terracotta. For the next row, you want to do 3 white terracotta, 1 terracotta, 4 white. And for the next row, you want to do 1 terracotta, 1 white wool, 1 green wool, 1 terracotta, 1 white terracotta, 1 green, 1 white wool, 1 white terracotta. Actually, no. Normal terracotta. For the next row, you want to do 1 stripped, 2 brown concrete, 1 terracotta, 1 white, 2 brown concrete, 1 terracotta. For the next row, do 1 spruce, 2 stripped, 4 white terracotta, and 1 spruce wood. For the next row, do 4 spruce planks. 4. No, only 3. 2 spruce wood, 1 spruce, 1 wood, 1 spruce. And that's it for the face. So, once you have that, move on to either side. What you want to do is, I'm going to come over on this side, is you want to bring the back of your statue off by 2 with your white terracotta. So, 1, 2. If there is detail on the back, that will change. So, come to either side of your statue. What you want to do is you want to place 3 spruce wood coming up, then do 2 spruce wood at the back, come over by 5 with your spruce wood on top of that row. So there's 5. Then skip a block, do 3 spruce wood, then do 1 spruce. Okay. That's what it should look like before we move on to the upper half. Then just come over to the other side and do the same exact thing. So, just to make this a tad bit easier, rather than me trying to explain it. Then come to the holes under here and fill this down here with white terracotta. Fill that in with white terracotta. Then do a terracotta and a white terracotta. Then do 2 terracotta. The same exact thing over here. I'm only doing this for ease, because once you get up higher, it has a lot of detail. Then what you want to do is you want to place 2 spruce. 1 spruce here and 1 spruce here. Should have done this from side to side rather than doing what I'm going to do. Okay. Fill that in with spruce. Now, starting from here, I'm going to do row to row. So, what you then want to do is you want to do 1 spruce, 1 wood, 1 spruce, 1 wood, 3 spruce. For the next row, do 1 wood, 1 spruce, 1 wood, 1 spruce, 1 wood, 2 spruce. For the next row, do 1 spruce, 2 wood, 1 spruce, 2 wood, 1 plank. And then what you want to do is just copy the same exact thing on the other side. Sorry if that was a little complicated. That was my fault. So, I'm gonna finish this here. Hopefully. There we go. There's that. Then what you want to do is move over onto the back. And there is no extra added on this bottom part. So what you want to do is you want to do 2 solid rows of spruce wood. Then what you want to do is you want to do 1 wood, 1 plank, 1 wood, 1 plank, and 2 wood. Did I do the back before the front? I want to say it did. Seems like something I would do. Or no. Okay. Sorry on my part. This kind of sucks. But which side is it? Right side is different from the left. I completely forgot about that. And it's identical, and I was right up to this point right here. Except for this wants to go up by 1. It's basically identical up to here, and then it's a little bit shaped a bit on the rows above. So the main difference is these 2 blocks right here need to be raised. I'll show you. And you guys can do your best to replicate it. Okay. Let's get rid of this row. Break that. That's about it. Okay, so yeah, as you guys saw, then what you want to do is once you have that all cleared out, you want to do 1 spruce, 1 wood, 2 spruce, 1 wood, 2 spruce. For that next row, do 3 spruce, 2 wood, 1 wood, 1 wood. 1 spruce, 1 wood. Did I even do that right? Oh yeah, it looks weird because it's not expanded out yet. Then for the next row, do 4 spruce, 2 wood, 1 spruce. And that's what that side should look like. Sorry about that. Then what you want to do is once you've completed that and fixed, well, after you have fixed that one little mistake there, come back over to the back side and do, let's say starting from left to right, do 2 wood, 1 spruce, 2 wood, 1 wood. I'm now switching the wood and spruce. See if I can get this right the next row. For the next row, just do, I'll finish it. For the next 3 rows, just do 3 solid rows of spruce. So, yeah, there's that. Then what you want to do is come onto the top. If I can find that picture. And just to make it simpler, fill in the top with your spruce wood. Just like that. Then, what you're going to want to do is he does have a 3D element coming off the front of this of his face. And this will give him his signature look. So, what you want to do is you want to come to this block right here, and you want to place one stripped wood, do a upper left diagonal, and do two, like that. Fill this in with your spruce wood, then one spruce, one stripped, like that. Then once you have that, you want to come up onto the top, and you want to bring this block right here back by about 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then come back by 1. So come to this block right here, move back by 1, and go right by 1. And you want to do 1 spruce, 2 dark oak, 1 spruce. For the next row, do 1 dark oak, 1 spruce, 2 dark oak. For the next row, do 1 spruce, 3 spruce wood, and that one being a dark oak. For the next row, do 3 dark oak, 1 spruce, and for the final row, do 1 dark oak, 1 spruce, 1 dark oak, 1 spruce. And once you have that, that is what the top of your head should look like. And once you've done that little detail, there's one little thing you can add if you want to. Well, actually 2. You can expand out your lightsaber here, and you can expand out the hood. But I did not do that on my original statue, so it's up to you guys. And once you have that, this is what your Obi-Wan Kenobi statue should look like. 100% fully complete. On that little note, I hope to see you guys next time, and hope you have a nice day. Goodbye.